Let's face it, sanding is not always the most fun part of woodworking, but it's an important step that can make a big difference in how your project turns out. Luckily, there have been many improvements on what's available for sandpaper and how it's made. PSA sandpaper is the one thing we just can't do without in the Woodsmith store shop or our shops at home. PSA, pressure sensitive adhesive, is a type of sandpaper that has a special adhesive on the back. The adhesive is tacky enough to stick to almost anything, but generally allows you to peel it off when it needs replacing. It comes on a 4.5-inch wide roll, approximately 30 feet long. There's a variety of grits available, from aggressive grits like 80 to 100, medium grits from 120 to 180, and fine grits from 220 to 320. The type of abrasive glued to the paper itself is sharp and aggressive, which means it cuts at a very efficient rate. This means it removes material much easier than regular sandpaper. And the special coating on the paper itself helps keep the sandpaper from filling up, which means it lasts much longer. One simple way to use PSA sandpaper is to simply cut it to size and fold it over to get a double-sided piece of sandpaper that comfortably fits your hand and your project. You can make the sandpaper pieces smaller size too, which is handy for sanding tight spaces or narrow surfaces. To cut it, use a utility knife or a metal rule and simply tear it off to the desired length. Our favorite way to use PSA sandpaper is to make sanding sticks, allowing you to get a grip on the stick but also keeping your sanding flat and even. These sticks are especially handy for breaking the edge of a workpiece slightly for a micro chamfer or round over. You can even apply different grits to each side of the stick, making it handy to complete both rough sanding and finish sanding with just one stick. Another way to use PSA is to apply the sandpaper to a flat surface, like a table saw extension wing. Perfect for small projects where you want to take the project to the sanding surface. You can also create your own set of stationary sanding blocks with Baltic birch plywood. Don't forget about quarter sheet finish sanders either. PSA paper is a perfect width and easily sticks to the rubber bottom of these sanders. When the paper is worn out or you want a finer grit, you can easily remove it without much fuss. Of course, PSA sandpaper is easier to use if you have a good sandpaper dispenser. This one can be made to hold as many rolls as you like, and it can be moved to the bench where you'll be working. Or you can also mount it to the wall to clear up bench space. Order a combo set of PSA sandpaper that includes 100 grit, 150 grit, and 220 grit, and get a free plan for this handy PSA sandpaper dispenser. All of this only from the Woodsmith store.